Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another video lecture of estimating, costing and valuation. Today we will continue with the methods of building estimate. The first method is long wall and short wall method and the second one is center line method. The basics of these two methods have been discussed in the previous lectures. Today we will try to solve the two-room building with veranda with the help of long wall and short wall method. Let me show you the question here. This is our building in which two rooms are given. In the front we have the veranda and also we have the stair. We have the two different cross sections. This is the first and this is the second. Let me first talk about the plan. As you can see, we have the two rooms. The dimensions are given 4.5 meter cross 3 meter. The second one is 4 cross 3 meter. And the veranda is 1.5 meter wide and its length can be calculated from these dimensions. Now these dotted line represent here the beams which are running across the rooms. As you can see it, this is the beam 1 and this is the beam 2nd. The dimensions of the beam are given, that is 20 cross 15 centimeter. Now talking about the cross section, this is the section XY. As you can see here, it is the line XY. Therefore, this section basically represents the veranda and the pillars, while as this particular section represents the section for rooms. So let us try to solve this building with the help of long wall and short wall method. And the first aim is to calculate the center to center length of long wall of rooms and then center to center length of the short wall of rooms. As you can see it here, it is very basic how we calculate the center to center length of long walls. We simply add half the thickness of this wall plus the inner length of this room plus this thickness plus inner length of this room plus half the thickness of this wall, and we can find out the center to center length of the long wall of rooms. Similarly, we can calculate the center to center length of the short wall of rooms by adding half the thickness of this wall plus inner width of this room plus half the thickness of this wall, that is 0.3 by 2 plus 3 plus 0.3 by 2, and you can calculate the center to center length of long wall and short wall, which is 9.1 and 3.3 meter respectively. Now in this question we also have the veranda, so let us try to find out the center to center length of the front long wall of veranda, that is this portion. Now how we will calculate it? Simply we will add the half the thickness of this wall plus this length plus half the thickness of this wall. This wall is 20 centimeter thick, half thickness is 0.2 by 2 plus this entire length plus half the thickness of this wall. So here we can see it, this wall is 0.3 meter thick while this is 0.2 meter. Therefore this particular portion here is 0.1 meter. Similarly in this side it will be 0.1 meter. So how we will calculate the total length here? 0.2 by 2, that is half the thickness, plus 0.1 plus 4.5 up to this point plus 0.3 plus 4 meter up to this point and then 0.1 meter, and then finally add 0 half the thickness of this wall, that is 0.2 by 2, and you can find out the length of the front wall of veranda, that is 9.2 meter. Similarly, we can calculate the center to center length of the veranda side walls. So here you can see we have to add half the thickness of this wall, that is 0.3 by 2 plus the width, that is 1.5 meter, plus half the thickness of this wall, that is 0.2 by 2. So you can see here it is 1.75 meter. So after calculating this thing, we will proceed as we have done in the past, and that in the tabular form. So let us try to calculate all other things which are asked in this question. The first thing here we will calculate is the earthwork in excavation in foundation. First of all, we will calculate it for rooms, then for veranda, and then finally for the steps. Now, this is the similar procedure for rooms as we have done in the last question. We have the two long walls and three short walls. As you can see in your diagram, these are the two long walls and we have the three short walls. Now we have to see what is the length. So the length is basically 9.1, and for the earthwork in excavation we know the width is 0.90, so we will add 0.90, this 0.90 for the long wall, and this 0.90 will be subtracted for the short wall, as we have discussed this thing in the past. So after calculating it for the rooms, the length is now calculated, breadth is given in the section, and it is height. You can also calculate it from the section. As you can see, 30 centimeter plus 20 plus 20 plus 20, which sums up to be 90 centimeter, that is 0.9 meter. Therefore this has been calculated. Multiply this and this, you will get the quantity. Now talking about the veranda, for the long wall, and the section on both sides is same, so here the procedure is same, and we have two long walls, and the short walls are also two here. Sorry, the long wall for the veranda is one and the short walls are two. The length will be calculated as 9.2 is the original center to center length, plus, now if you see the section for the veranda, this is the for the veranda, the width is only 0.7 meter, so we have to add this 0.7 meter for the long wall here. So that is why I have written 9.2 plus 0.7 and 0. Now talking about the short wall, if you see the diagram for the short wall here, and the section is different on this side, and the section here is different on the both sides of the short wall. For the veranda, the sections are different. So in this, how we will calculate the length of short wall, let me show you here. The short walls are 2, the length, now talking about the length, 1.75 meter is the original length. We will subtract half on the one side and half on the other side. On this side the width is 0.90, and on this side, that is the veranda side, and the width is 0.7 meter. So we have to subtract half of the 0.9 meter and half of the 0.7 meter, because we have to remember one thing in this question. In this side we have a one section, and on this side we have the different section, so this thing need to be remembered. So that is why I'm writing here 1.75 minus 0.9 by 2 minus 0.7 by 2. After that, 0.70 we know is the width. 0.90, again you can see from the section, it is the depth here. So simply multiply them and you will get the quantity. Now talking about the steps, now we will consider it to be 1. Now talking about its length, which is given in the section as 2.40, as you can see it here, it is 2.40. now 2.40 is the length given, but this length is at the top level, and in the foundation we have to provide steps in it. The offsets on the both side, offset of 0.10 will be provided, therefore and this length turns out to be 2.60. And now talking about the width, you can see again here, this is our stair. The width is given 1 meter, and it is 1 meter here, and now it is depth is 15 centimeter given here. You can see 15 centimeter is written out there, That's why we're taking it as a 15 centimeter. Simply then multiply and you will get the total quantity, add them all, and you will get the total quantity of earthwork in excavation in foundation. Now talking about the earthwork in filling. Now first of all we have to fill the foundation trench. After filling the foundation trench, we will fill the room first up to the plinth, and then the second room up to the plinth, and then finally we will fill up the veranda. Now earthwork in filling for foundation trench is directly taken as the 1/5 of the earthwork in excavation, which we know 1/5 of 29.86 as calculated here, and you will get the earthwork in filling foundation trench as 5.97 cum. Now talking about how much will be the quantity up to the plinth of a room first and the room second. The number will be 1 because we are taking both the rooms separately. Now talking about their length, as you can see, the length of the room first is 4.5, but we are in our question we are taking it as 4.4 because of the fact we have to provide the offsets on the both sides, and that means it will turn out to be 4.4 meter only. Similarly, its width is 3 meter. We have to provide offsets on both the sides. The value for the offset will be 0.05 meter. So 0.05 meter on one side, 0.05 meter on other side. So together it will be 0.1 meter. Therefore, it is 2.9. Now talking about it is height. If you see up to the plinth from the cross section here, you can see from ground level up to the plinth, it is total height here is 60 centimeter, that is 0.60. But also if you see here, 75 lime concrete is placed over BFS. It is basically the brick soling, which is generally taken as 10 centimeter. So we have to subtract these two things from 0.60, which turns out to be 0.43. That is why in all the three cases we have taken it is 0.43. Similarly, you can calculate the length, width, and depth for the room second, and same procedure is for the veranda. And then you add them all, that is from this point, this, and this, and you will get the total earthwork in filling, which is 21.67 cums. Now talking about the third thing, that is lime concrete in foundation for rooms. You follow the same procedure as you have proceeded in the past. For the long walls here 2, and the short rooms here, short walls here 3. You know how to calculate the length, and all this is mentioned in your plan. Now talking about the veranda, which is important here. For the long wall of the veranda, you can see basically the length is 9.2, and we're talking about the lime concrete. Let me show you the plan. And this is the lime concrete. For the veranda, it is only for this portion 0.70, so we have to add 9.2 plus 0.7. You will get the 9.9 as the length of the long wall. Now for the short wall, we know for the short wall we have the different sections on the both side, so we have to keep that thing in our mind. So in here how we will calculate it, 1.75 is the original center to center length of the short wall. Now for the veranda 1.75, we have to subtract it by 0.9 by 2 minus 0.7 by 2, because the sections are different on the both the sides. 0.9 on this side and 0.7 by 2 on another side. So this is how you calculate the length when we have the different cross sections. So we will add them together, we will get the total quantity of 21.67 cubes. Sorry, it's here. Now talking about the step, how we will calculate the lime concrete in step. Again, the number is 2.60. You know now how 2.60 we take the length, width is 1, again it is 0.15, you will get the quantity 0.39, add them all, you will get the total lime concrete in foundation, that is 9.86 cube. Now talking about the brickwork in foundation, again here the procedure is simple, which we have followed in the past. For the first footing, we will calculate it separately for second footing, similarly for plinth. The procedure is same as we have done in the previous question. We simply calculate its length. Here you can see from the plan the brickwork, we have the first footing, the width is 0.60. That means for the long wall we have to add 0.60, and for short wall we have to subtract the 0.60. Similarly for the second footing, in case of the long wall we have to add 0.50 for the long wall and subtract 0.50 for the short wall. For plinth we have to add 0.40 for long wall and subtract this 0.40 for short wall. Here the section is same, so we simply add and subtract these things. Now when we come to this point, that is veranda, then here we have to keep one thing in mind, that the sections are different for veranda. Now talking about the veranda, for the first footing, the long wall is 9.60. This is simply 9.2 plus 0.40. The total width is 0.40, as you can see it from this portion. This total width is 0.40 for the first footing. In case of the veranda, the depth is 0.20. That is why we are mentioning it here: 0.20, 0.40, and 9.60. Now talking about the short wall. Now talking about the short wall, as we can see from our plan here, and this is our short wall. Now talking about the first footing, 1.75 is the original center to center length. Now on this side, if you see, the section is this, and the first footing width is 0.60, and on this side the section is this one, and the width here is 0.40 for the first footing. So here how we will calculate the length for the short wall: 1.75 minus 0.6 by 2 minus 0.4 by 2. 0.6 by 2 minus 0.4 by 2, and you will get it here 1.25. 0.40 is the width, 0.20 is the depth, as you can see it here. 0.20 is given here, so multiply them and you will get the quantity. Similarly for second footing, for the long wall, the procedure is simple. We have one long wall, 9.50, 0.30, and you can see it here. 0.30 is the width in case of the second footing, and total height, you can see it is 60 centimeter plus 40 centimeter. That means total is 100 centimeter, that is 1 meter. That is why we are mentioning here 1 meter. Now talking about the short wall, again we have the two. Now talking about its length, the original length is 1.75. Now talking about the second footing, on this side we have 0.5, and on this side the second footing is 0.3. So simply what we will do: 1.75 minus 0.5 by 2 minus 0.3 by 2, and you will get the length for the short wall, which is 1.35 here. 0.30 is the total width and 1 meter is the total height, and you will get the quantity. Now talking about the step, as we're calculating the brickwork and foundation, it is 1 here. For the brick it is only going to be 2.40, and the total height is 0.60. As you can see, all these things are given in our section. 0.50 will be its total height. Now how we will calculate the total height of the stair as 0.45? Let me tell you from this plan. The rise is given 15 centimeter is the rise, and the total number of steps are 3. The risers will be 3, so 3 multiplied by 15 centimeter turns out to be 45 centimeter, that is 0.4 meter. That's why 0.45 meter, 0.45 meter is taken as to be height in case of the step. Okay, multiply them and you will get the quantity. Add all them and you will get the total brickwork in foundation. Now talking about the brickwork in superstructure, you have to follow the same procedure for the room as we have calculated in the past for long wall, short wall. Now talking about the veranda, for the long wall, you have to have the same procedure, 9.4, simply 9.1 plus 0.3. As you can see, for the superstructure, from this diagram, it is 0.3. That is why we're adding 0.3 for the long wall. Now, short wall. Number of short walls, we have 2. Now talking about its length, how we will calculate its length. Now we see we are on the top of it. 1.75 is the original. On this side 0.30 is the thickness of the wall, while in this side the thickness of the wall is only 0.2. That is why we're subtracting 0.3 by 2 and 0.2 by 2 from 1.75 in order to get the length, that is 1.150. 0.20 is the thickness, and now 0.80 is the total height. As you can see it from your section, 0.80 is the total height. Now talking about the DPC, now talking about the DPC, 0.80 height is, you can see it from here. And the veranda is only 0.8 meter high. Now talking about the pillars, the number of pillars you can see is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 pillars we have in our structure. And the dimension of the pillar, as you can see, is given 20 centimeter cross 20 centimeter. Therefore you get its length, you get its height, width, and its height 2.4 meter. It is given here. The pillar is 2.5 meter in height. Therefore you can multiply them and get the quantity, add them up and you will get the total quantity. Now talking about the DPC for the long wall and short wall, we have 2 and 3 respectively. You know how to calculate this length, 9.4. Now we have taken the width as 0.30 only because in the question it is given. As you can see here, the DPC is not provided for the entire 0.40. It is provided only for this portion, 0.30. Practically, if you see in the field, the DPC will be provided for this entire portion, that is 0.40. But from this diagram, as you can see, the DPC is provided only to the width of 0.3 meters. That is why we are taking the width of the DPC as 0.3. And for short wall you have to follow the same procedure, and for pillars again you have to the same thing, and we'll get the total quantity of DPC in square meters. Now talking about the plaster. Now first of all we will calculate the plaster outside up to plinth. In the last question I have shown you how to calculate the plaster inside the room. That is why here I am not calculating that thing. Here I will show you how to calculate the plaster outside. First of all, up to the plinth level. First of all, long wall and the side walls. We will have the 2 because we are talking about the outside. For this outside we have 1 and this one 2. And side walls we will have 1 side wall and we have another side wall. That means these are 2. Now calculate the length. The first is 9.5. You can see how it is 9.5 from this. You can add the 0.3 plus 4.5 plus 0.3 plus this 4 meter plus 0.3, this is the length, and you have to add, that turns out to be 9.4, and you have to add the offset of 0.05 meter on both the sides, which will make the total length as 9.5. Now talking about the height from the ground level up to the plinth, it is given here. You can see from ground level to the plinth it is 0.60 outside, therefore it's 0.60 here. Similarly for side walls, we have two side walls. Now talking about the length of the side wall, you can see it here. You have 0.3 plus 4.5 plus 0.3 plus 1.5 plus sorry 0.3 plus 3 meter plus 0.3 plus 1.5 plus 0.2, and also at the offset of 0.05 meter on both the sides, and you will get the total length 5.40. Again the height 0.60, multiply them and you will get the value. Now outside above plinth level, again for the long wall and the side walls. Now above plinth level, uh, talking about the length, it will be 9.40. For the when we are calculating above plinth level, we do not add the offsets, so the length will be 9.40. Total height, you can see the total height is 3.2 meter. As you can see here, the total from this portion, the total height is 3.2 meter. After this we have a slab of 10 centimeter. We are going to make plaster on that 10 centimeter also. That is why 3.2 plus 0.1, the total height becomes 3.3 for the long wall. Now talking about the side walls, since we are above plinth level and the veranda is only up to the plinth level, and for this we will have the side walls will be 0.3 plus this 3 plus 0.3, so it will be 3.6. Again the height will be 3.3. I have to keep one thing in mind: the side walls, when you are talking about above plinth level, it will be only 3.6, while here it is 5.4, because of the fact that the plinth up to the plinth level and the veranda is only up to the height of the plinth level. Above it, it is not provided. That is why we are considering only the height of 3.6 here. Multiply them and you will get the quantity. Now talking about the pillars, we have a 5 pillar, and these are the square pillars, and each pillar will have the 4 sides. That is why the number will become 5 cross 4, and the length will be 0.20 as it is given. Similarly, the height of the pillar is 2.4, which is shown in the section. Multiply them and you will get the total quantity for the pillars. And similarly, you can calculate for the steps. Now talking about the steps, we have the thread, we have the rise, that we have 3 threads and we have 3 rises. 2.40 is the length given, 0.30 is the dimension for the thread, and 0.15 is the dimension for the rise. So multiply them and we get the total quantity in square meters. Now talking about the one more thing that we are going to calculate in it is cement concrete. Now cement concrete in a roof, slab and for beams. Now talking about the cement concrete, the roof slab, we have a one slab. Okay, we have to provide the slab for this entire region, so if you see this length, that is 9.4, and this length it is 5.3. That is why we're taking it 9.4, 5.3. The depth of the slab is given in the question as 10 centimeter, that is 0.10. Calculate them and you will get the quantity. And now for beams, we have two beams. As I told you earlier, these dotted line represent the beams here, the dimensions given, and these beams are from this point to this point. That means the length of this beam is going to be 3.6, because 0.3 on this side plus 3 meter plus 0.3 and it will turn out to be 3.6 meter. The dimensions of the beam are 0.2 cross 0.15, which are given. Multiply them and you will get the total quantity 0.2. Add both them and you will get the total cement concrete for roof, slab, and beams. Similarly, you can calculate the steel. Now, how you calculate the steel for roof slab? You calculate it as you simply take the 1% of the volume. Uh, for the slab, and the volume you have calculated is 4.98 cube, and so you will simply take it as 1%, which turns out to be 0.05 cube. And similarly for lintel, sheds, and beams, you take the 0.8% of the volume. So we have calculated the volume for the beams as 0.22. So 0.8% of 0.8% of 0.22. This is the value 0.00176 cubes, and you will get the total as 0.52 cubes. And you can then convert this cube into the kgs by simply multiplying it with the density of steel, that is 7850 kg per meter cube, and you will get the total quantity in terms of the kgs also. In this question, you can calculate many more things like the deductions, where do not consider the deductions here in a superstructure and brickwork. Calculate them by yourself. Similarly, for plastering, you know how to calculate the deductions, calculate the deductions, and tell your answer in the comment sections. I hope you have got the concept how to solve the question when you have the different sections in your structure. Thank you very much for joining the class.